is, in my opinion, a narcissist, is driving him insane.
He's in an abusive relationship.
He's in an abusive relationship, absolutely.
This is just astonishing, isn't it? Because we saw Harry's very public takedown of Meghan on the podcast last week, scolding her in front of the world for daring to post
completely fed up of being paraded around.
The internet absolutely exploded. Millions of people across the globe stopped what they were doing as an unexpected clip started circulating on social media. It was a shaky but incredibly intimate glimpse inside the Montecito mansion that most of us had only imagined, and what people saw left them completely stunned. In the video, Prince Harry is sitting on a plush beige sofa, barefoot, scrolling through his phone. He looks relaxed, maybe even unguarded for once. Then Meghan Markle bursts into the frame, laughing loudly with a friend. She's holding a glass of wine, teasing him about never watching the Dodgers with her, joking that he's such a Brit even after all these years in California.
Some doing. But this is Meghan Markle's sickest stunt yet.
On the surface, it seems lighthearted, even silly. Just a normal couple having a normal moment at home. But within hours, this became a full-blown royal scandal. Because here's the thing, that footage wasn't filmed for a documentary. It wasn't some behind-the-scenes special or approved content for their Netflix deal. According to sources close to the Duke of Sussex, this was home security camera footage, and Harry had absolutely no idea it was going to be released. Within minutes, hashtags started exploding everywhere.
For Prince Harry in Canada.
Harry didn't know. Montecito meltdown. Privacy for Meghan, but not for him. As the video racked up millions and millions of views across TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube, one thing became painfully obvious to everyone watching. Prince Harry was furious. According to an insider who spoke to the Daily Mirror, Harry had no idea that footage even existed, let alone that it was being edited and shared with the world. The source said, he feels completely blindsided, betrayed even. He thought their home was the one place he could be himself. Off camera, off duty, off the record. Think about that for a second. This is a man who spent years, literally years, railing against the press for invading his privacy. He gave emotional interviews about how the paparazzi and tabloids destroyed his sense of safety. He left his entire family, his country, his royal role, all to escape that constant surveillance. And now the irony is absolutely gut-wrenching, because this time, it wasn't paparazzi breaking his boundaries. It was his own wife.
She had to go, she had to set the camera up, she had to do the whole thing.
Behind closed doors, sources described a massive argument that apparently shook the Montecito mansion. One confidant said, "He snapped. He told her she'd crossed a line that couldn't be uncrossed. He asked her how she could use their home, his last sanctuary, as a PR set piece." According to multiple reports, Meghan tried to calm the situation down. She reportedly insisted the clip was harmless and sweet, telling him, "It shows the real us, the happy us. People need to see that side of our life." But for Harry, this wasn't about optics or public relations. This was about trust. He'd walked away from everything he knew to escape the constant cameras, the endless scrutiny, the feeling that every single move was being documented and packaged for someone else's narrative. Now, in California, that exact same feeling was creeping back. And this time, it wasn't coming from the tabloids. It was personal. The fallout was immediate and absolutely brutal. Royal commentators jumped on it instantly.
Looks like a moron sitting at a Dodgers stadium.
Piers Morgan called it proof that Meghan sees everything, including her husband, as content. Megyn Kelly said it felt exploitative, like Harry's just a supporting character in Meghan's reality show. Even Hollywood publicists, people who normally stay quiet about these things, were whispering that the Duchess had seriously overplayed her hand this time. And here's what made it even worse: the timing. The footage dropped the exact same week as Prince William's major Earthshot Prize event, which immediately sparked allegations that Meghan had strategically released the video to steal the spotlight. One royal watcher said, "It's not a coincidence. Every single time William or Catherine are front and center, Meghan seems to find a way to make headlines. It's like she can't help herself." But this time, the strategy seemed to completely backfire. Instead of making her look relatable and down to earth, the move reignited a narrative she'd worked for years to bury. The manipulative, attention-hungry Duchess who couldn't resist turning private moments into public drama. And Harry? He was absolutely unraveling. Paparazzi photos taken just days later showed him looking completely drained. His eyes were hidden behind dark sunglasses, his jaw clenched tight. The man who used to radiate this natural ease and charm now looked haunted.
Remain the Duke and Duchess of Sussex.
Friends said he'd gone eerily quiet, skipping meetings, avoiding phone calls, basically retreating into total isolation. A longtime friend confided, "He's not okay. It's not just about the video itself. It's about what it represents. He's realizing he doesn't control the story anymore, not even the one about his own life." As the headlines kept intensifying, Meghan's team scrambled into full damage control mode. A statement from her spokesperson called the clip a lighthearted personal moment and a celebration of home and happiness. They completely denied that any privacy lines were crossed, claiming that Harry had been fully aware of the cameras the entire time. But insiders told a very different story. One source said, he knew there were cameras for security purposes, not for social media. The idea that she could just take that footage and turn it into a PR reel, that's not what he signed up for. And then came the revelation that made this whole thing even more explosive. Meghan had reportedly sent the video to several media outlets herself, along with a note describing it as a glimpse of real love, real laughter, and real life. In other words, this wasn't leaked by some hacker or disgruntled employee.
Jackets. In a casual interview, Prince Harry stated he currently lives in the United States, and Palace insiders tell Shooter Scoop that phrasing was neither accidental nor innocent.
It was launched, and that detail changed absolutely everything. The palace, though publicly silent as always, was reportedly deeply disturbed by the whole situation. Courtiers were quietly whispering that the move validated all their concerns about the Sussexes' judgment when it comes to privacy and media. One insider reminded the press, "The late Queen always said they couldn't have it both ways. You can't demand privacy while broadcasting your personal moments to millions of people. That's not protection, that's performance." Meanwhile, Hollywood circles started buzzing with gossip about serious cracks in the Montecito fairy tale. Powerful PR insiders, the same people who once courted Meghan for major projects, were now privately questioning whether her brand had become toxic. One producer put it pretty bluntly, "You can't market authenticity when your husband looks like a hostage in every clip." And that video, the one that was supposed to humanize Meghan and show their genuine happiness, had done the complete opposite. People started dissecting the footage in slow motion. Body language analysts pointed out how Harry barely smiled, how he looked away while she was speaking, how his laugh felt forced and uncomfortable. Online psychologists broke down his expressions, calling it classic discomfort, a sign of suppressed frustration, a man performing happiness for the camera. And through all of this chaos, Meghan remained publicly silent. But privately, according to sources, she felt completely blindsided by the backlash. She genuinely believed the clip would warm public opinion, not ignite this kind of firestorm. She was reportedly heartbroken that Harry didn't see the gesture as love, but as betrayal. But for Harry, this wasn't just another tabloid headline he could ignore. This was the breaking point. After 5 years of what he once described as living under a microscope made by his own family, he now found himself living in a glass house of his own making. Only this time, the person holding the camera wasn't the British press or royal photographers. It was his wife. And that realization, according to those closest to him, broke something fundamental inside him. He stopped appearing in her videos altogether. He pulled back from her podcast plans. He started spending more and more time in London, officially for charity work. But privately, everyone knew he was looking for something else, something he'd lost along the way: peace. Meanwhile, that clip refused to die down. It became a meme, a cultural talking point, a symbol of everything fractured between them. Commentators joke that Netflix doesn't even need to renew the Sussexes' contract. They should just check the home security feed. By the time Meghan tried to defend herself in a follow-up interview, claiming the moment was shared out of joy and not strategy, the damage was already done. Because joy doesn't look like what we all saw in that footage, and Harry's face in that video told the world everything it needed to know. The fallout kept getting worse. Within hours, every major tabloid, gossip column, and streaming news outlet had replayed Meghan's home security footage frame by frame, adding their own dramatic voiceovers and analysis. Headlines were screaming everywhere. Prince Harry trapped in Duchess's home PR nightmare. Montecito meltdown, Sussex scandal unfolds. Privacy betrayed, Meghan's latest move leaves Harry furious. Social media reactions were just as intense. TikTok users created memes showing Harry trying to duck behind couches and hide from cameras. Twitter threads dissected every single second of the video. People debated whether he looked just uncomfortable or completely defeated. Within days, Harry had become the unwitting star of a viral storm he never, ever signed up for. According to insiders, the intensity of this backlash pushed Harry to act fast and decisively. One source revealed he realized he couldn't just sit there and take it anymore. Harry needed to reclaim control of his life before the narrative consumed him entirely. And so he made a move that stunned both the royal world and Hollywood. In a private meeting with his legal and PR teams, Harry reportedly demanded full control over all content featuring him in the Montecito home, including any security footage. Sources say he threatened serious legal action if any of it was released without his express written permission going forward. A close confidant explained, "It wasn't just about one video. This was about his life, his privacy, his sanity. He drew a line in the sand, and this time he wasn't going to let it be crossed." But this public showdown with Meghan marked a major turning point in their relationship. Word leaked out that tensions between them were higher than they'd ever been, and whispers about real cracks in their marriage started spreading like wildfire. Some insiders suggested that Harry had been spending nights alone in London, officially attending charity events and veterans' appearances, but really just trying to escape the mounting pressure at home. Meanwhile, Meghan's carefully curated media empire started to wobble. Sources say that projects which had once been considered guaranteed hits, things like podcasts, lifestyle campaigns, and major brand collaborations, were suddenly under serious review. PR executives were reportedly worried that her judgment, already questioned after previous missteps, had reached a point of genuinely high risk. One Hollywood insider said, "When your brand relies entirely on the perception of control and authenticity, and the footage suggests the complete opposite, it creates a perfect storm. Sponsors get nervous. Collaborators start asking difficult questions. Even Hollywood's royal watchers began noticing subtle shifts in the landscape. Meghan's once fiercely loyal allies started hesitating to publicly defend her, knowing that the optics of the Montecito footage made them vulnerable to criticism by association. The video had unwittingly weaponized Harry's visible discomfort against her, turning what should have been private moments into very public ammunition. In the middle of all this chaos, Harry reportedly began strategizing his own comeback, one that prioritized his personal autonomy over the couple's joint brand. Sources indicate he met with close advisors to discuss several major options: limiting his appearances in any Meghan-led content, regaining full control over his social media channels and how his image gets distributed, publicly clarifying his stance on privacy and personal agency without directly attacking Meghan in the process. One confidant said, "He's done being reactive to whatever happens around him. Harry wants proactive control now. This isn't just about one video or one controversy, it's about sending a clear message to everyone: my life, my rules." At the same time, the palace was quietly monitoring the entire situation from across the Atlantic. Royal insiders noted that courtiers were concerned not just about the footage itself, but about what it symbolized. Here was a Sussex couple whose personal drama could spiral into yet another global media crisis at any moment. A palace aide explained, "It's a delicate dance for them. They can't intervene directly in Harry and Meghan's lives anymore, but they're acutely aware that every misstep gets magnified tenfold in the press." Back in Montecito, Meghan reportedly felt the mounting pressure from all sides. Sources describe her as frustrated and genuinely disbelieving that the backlash had escalated this quickly and this intensely. Staff members whispered about her late-night strategy sessions, desperately trying to spin the footage as authentic family joy and connection. But insiders say those efforts were too little, too late. One former aide said, "She thought the public would see the love and the laughter, not the tension underneath. But the optics completely betrayed her. People just aren't buying it anymore." The storm reached a completely new level when a rival influencer somehow leaked a short audio clip of Harry speaking privately about feeling cornered and overwhelmed by the whole video situation. Though it was brief, maybe only 15 or 20 seconds, it sent social media into an absolute frenzy. Hashtags like Harry Over It and Duchess Drama started trending worldwide within hours. Media analysts pointed out that the clip painted Harry as this deeply sympathetic figure caught in the crossfire of his wife's ambitions, a narrative that threatened to completely overshadow Meghan's carefully curated persona. Even some of Meghan's media-friendly celebrity friends began quietly distancing themselves, clearly worried that associating with this fallout could seriously damage their own credibility and public image. One PR executive told the press, "It's become a reputation minefield. You're either aligned with Harry's narrative or Meghan's at this point. And right now, Harry has the massive sympathy advantage with the public." Caught right in the middle of all this, Harry made what many are calling a genuinely bold decision. He would publicly reassert control over his own story on his own terms. First, he started limiting his appearances in any projects where Meghan had editorial authority or final say. Then, he began granting exclusive interviews to journalists he personally trusted, offering candid insights into his life that were carefully framed but undeniably human and real. For the first time in years, he wasn't just the husband in a global media spectacle. He was his own man again, actively shaping his narrative the way he wanted. One insider said, "He's exhausted from being reactive all the time." Harry finally realized he couldn't protect Meghan from public criticism without protecting himself at the same time. And this was the moment he drew that line. Meanwhile, Meghan's media empire started fracturing even further. Streaming partners began delaying planned releases. Branding teams paused major campaigns. Lifestyle collaborators quietly renegotiated their contracts or backed out entirely. Sources suggest she tried hard to rally her team and keep everything together. But the tension with Harry and the very public perception of that tension made any kind of cohesion basically impossible. At one point, a leaked message from one of her associates claimed Meghan had declared, "If Harry won't play along, nothing else matters." It was a chilling insight into just how wide the rift between her personal life and professional strategy had actually become. People started openly speculating about the future of all their joint projects. Would the podcast plans continue? Would the lifestyle campaigns survive this mess? And most importantly, could the Sussex brand itself endure without some kind of internal alignment between them? While Meghan kept trying to assert dominance over the media narrative, Harry's shocking moves were already completely reshaping the conversation. By reclaiming control over his public image, he wasn't just protecting himself anymore. He was forcing Meghan to seriously reconsider her entire approach to their shared life. A Hollywood insider summed it up perfectly. This isn't just a PR battle between a couple anymore. It's about trust, power, and who actually gets to define the story. Right now, Harry's making it crystal clear that he's no longer a supporting character in her show. As the sun set over Montecito that evening, the couple remained under the most intense global microscope imaginable. Yet insiders suggest the power dynamic between them had fundamentally shifted. Harry, who'd been reactive and cornered for so long, was finally asserting real authority over his own life. Meghan, whose every single move had been so carefully calculated for maximum public impact, now faced something completely unpredictable. A husband who flat out refused to be played anymore. The world kept watching, the tabloids kept screaming, social media kept exploding with theories and takes, and right in the middle of it all, Harry was no longer just a passive participant in his own story. He was back in the game. And for the first time in what feels like years, he wasn't afraid to call his own shots and make his own decisions. So, what do you think is going to happen next? Can Harry and Meghan actually recover from this? Or is this the beginning of the end for the Sussex brand? Do you think Harry was right to draw the line? Or should he have handled it differently? Drop all your thoughts in the comments below because I want to hear what you think about this entire situation. And if you want to stay updated on every twist and turn in this ongoing saga, make sure you smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications. This story is changing literally every single day, and trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.